Not everyone gets to test a boat like we do. When we had the opportunity to put the 39-foot Seawind 1170 through its paces, crossing the Tasman Sea, one of the most notorious passages on the planet, we documented the 9-day journey testing many facets of the boat's operation to give you a real-life, unpolished test of this remarkable boat. However, extreme weather conditions loomed that tested not only the boat, but our safe passage and navigation. When a weather window opened, we had to jump in it. The weather models looked ideal for the next 10 days. However, there was one scenario that presented a potential cyclonic low developing in about a week's time and huge seas to follow. So we had to monitor this closely. So it was with some trepidation that we departed into an overcast, dreary day into the leftovers of an overnight southerly blow. They say the most dangerous thing on the boat is a calendar, but it was now or never.
Hey, Tom here. We're just setting off on sweet disposition for Tasman crossing to New Zealand. Got to get the boat there for the boat show, so just tracked a course, the rum line to Cape Reinga. We're looking at about 1180 miles, so weather looks good. Just got to get out the heads now and settle in. Rainy day here in Sydney, but I'm sure we'll see some sunshine as we get along. So we're probably 20 miles off Sydney. We've got 16 to 18 knots true wind speed, and she's performing really well. We're sort of hitting 8s, mid-8s sometimes, but sitting around the 7s constantly. Very comfortable, nice sea state, so overall the boat's performing well.
We had a pretty wild night last night on our first evening of the trip to New Zealand across the Tasman. We got up to around 30 knots on average there in the middle of the night. Very lumpy seas, pretty much punching straight into the nose the whole way, sitting at about 40 degrees apparent. Really good test for the bows. You just feel them punching through the swell and riding over them. But it certainly was lumpy and bumpy, that's for sure. We've now got 3 reefs in the main, which we set in last night, in the middle of the night. And the breeze has backed off a little bit, so it's come down to around 23, 24 knots and on a beam reach now. So we're flying along, doing around 8 knots, and boat settled down a little bit more too, which is nice. So we're making some good headway.
One of the benefits of radar is to be able to see the rain scores that you're in for. You can see the rain is quite heavy. We've got good protection in the cockpit, and you can always move inside and close the doors and get completely out of the weather. With a day of light weather, we're able to unfurl the Screecher. This fits neatly on the end of the longeron beam. You leave it there virtually permanently, and it was really useful to get the boat going.
Today's a bit quieter, we don't have a lot of breeze, so we're going to have a quick look at some of the galley setup and preparation, including provisioning. Our onboard skipper and cook extraordinaire. So what do we got going on here?
Oh, just cooking up some dinner down in the galley. It's a really usable space at sea, especially when you got a bit of side sea action or some heavy weather. You feel really enclosed in here with real good visibility. So really enjoying prepping meals down here, and it's working really well. So
We've been enjoying the meals, so well done.
Yeah, well,
Gourmet food so far. So
you can complain, but
so what have we got cooking?
so we've got a bit of a butterfly chicken in the oven at the moment.
Wonderful.
So we'll pull that out shortly and have a feed.
Excellent. So why don't you tell us a little bit about provisioning for a voyage like this? So 7, 8, 9 day
Sure.
voyage?
So, you know, you try and get your dinners, so a few frozen meals before you leave, a good cottage pie and some soups, never go astray. And then just having backup, so always having some cans on board, some frozen, you know, grab a frozen curry out of the freezer or the likes, and then plenty of snacks and fruit, and you should be good to go. Usually your last day or two you're down to the dregs, but you know, you eat well on the first few days and then eat the leftovers on the rest. But yeah.
So far the cooking has all been pre-prepped.
Yeah.
It's just warming them up.
Yeah, exactly. So
Cups of coffee and tea.
Yeah.
Simple food, but
yeah,
enjoyable.
exactly. A few nice ice creams and a few things for dessert now and again, but yeah, no, it's make it as easy as possible.
So behind you there we've got the fridge, stand-up fridge, and then the main freezer
Under
the
here.
place here. It's quite large. With some pantry storage. And then up here, Ross is ready for dinner as we prep for the afternoon, and then cups and plates on the side. But you can see
Cups and plates in here, and they're well held in, so avoid any breakages, basically.
quite a good sized galley for the size of the boat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And at the moment it's really warm, so having the hatch open is helping a lot.
Get a bit of steam out. Got the fan there ready to go if it gets real warm. But excellent.
All good.
All right, we'll look forward to
let's
it.
eat.
Well, the wind has come back in a little bit. We've got about 15 knots on the beam, fractal a little bit to about 120-degree heading. Take us a little bit south. Anticipation of a big southerly front that will come through in about 24 hours or so. So I thought I'd take the opportunity just to show how the nav desk and navigation systems all work together on the 1170. Here we've got a neat little desk, quite a bit of depth in it. A little tray here and here to store it. We have our weather routing information on predict winds. So it's quite neat because we've got weather here, or working away on emails, and then we've got a Starlink set up, Meridian Go connected as well. And then the chart plotter is swung around on a Google view, on a swivel zone. And that allows us to see all the data as we're tracking along from inside the cabin, or for a fact at the helm. It's been a one of those. Like so. And what this means is that when you keep watch here day and night, quite comfortably, and if you want to see your sails, simply lean back, eyeball the sails through the windows, clear visibility, forwards and aft, see navigation, see weather information, mast roll, battery, storage, charging, fuel tank capacity, water tank capacity, battery. So not very close, very simple. Supposed to run on lithium batteries for first owners. Keep an eye on that. But the point being, it's all very close. Practical. And this is the best fun for my boat. Sitting here watching the transom wake and keeping an eye on things. See, today they're on sail steer, but it's holding a current wing angle just to optimize our sailing. So if the wind shifts around, the boat actually shifts heaven. So there you go. Bit of a quick summary on how the navigation systems all work with the nav desk. So this quite a unique nav desk on the Seawind. They're very practical.
Hi there. We're going to have a look at the Seawind Helm configuration today on the Seawind 1170 as we cross the Tasman Ocean. So no better time to get a real life working example of how this helm works. Now we're in about 20-25 knots from the northeast, so we're actually punching into it a little bit here again. Fortunately, that's been our life for the last 5 days, so it's been a very good test on how everything works on the boat, but particularly the helms. Now, as we'll get the odd greenie or spray across the deck, that water washes straight past thanks to these nice clears. And we can zip open the clears, get access to the rope clutches, or we can just access the primary winch here, which is an electric winch. That runs our main sheet, our main halyard, and importantly, the reef line. Because most of the time when you come out here on the helm offshore, it's not for sailing generally. It's actually for shaping reefs out or putting reefs in, depending on the conditions. So we can put the first reef in here without actually exiting the cockpit at all and exposing ourselves to the conditions, which isn't the case on some twin helms where you're literally perched on the very last step of the transom down there, completely exposed to the weather and needing full wet weather gear. Now, I'm not even in a offshore jacket at the moment. We're in the confines of the cabin here, and nice and comfortable. But we do have full control of the boat. Now I can also see the sails through this window here, so as we put a reef in or out, we can see what level it's at, and also adjust the jib from the secondary helm on the other side. And that goes for that helm. You know, if the weather is a bit too much on this side, we can always swap to the other helm. You can put twin throttle controls on as well. We have a singular throttle control, which is fine. But just wanted to point out that the twin helm configuration, all on one level on this boat, so there's no stepping up and being exposed again to the weather or looking through clears. Here we look through glass toughened windows, and we've got that full protection bubble, if you like, for safety enclosure of the cabin and clears. So it works extremely well. Well, after about 5 days of beating to windwards out into the Tasman Sea towards New Zealand, we finally get our southerly change. Came through about 4:30 this morning. It wasn't too extreme, but we've been sitting on 25s up to 30 knots during the day. A bit of a sea building with it. So it's a little bit still to the beam, but the boat's handling really well, and we're getting some good pace now as we slide our way more towards New Zealand on a direct route, as opposed to having to take the wind given direction for us. So we're making good progress now. We're at about 300 miles or so from New Zealand, and we'll be checking in them soon. But just wanted to point out on this boat how cool it is that you can be out here in the weather and then suddenly walk through the doors and you're in a nice cozy spot inside. Hey Tom.
Yeah, nice in here.
Much nicer in here than out there. If you've been wondering how we're getting the footage off the bow, we're using a 360 camera basically on a selfie stick with a clamp on the forward staunches. So we're going to go put it out there now, wet weather jacket on and harness that will connect to some of the jack stays on the side of the boat. So hopefully we don't get completely drenched on the way up. Oh, there's a bad one now, off in my window.
You really appreciate the flat decks and the higher safety rails now at 800mm high, even for big guys like myself that can walk down the side in a bit of a sea state. Okay, so we're going to have a quick chat about the power management systems on the boat as it stands. So we've come off probably, when will the motors go on last?
About 6 o'clock last night.
6 o'clock
for about
last
40
night.
minutes.
All right, so we're going all the way through the night, and most of today has been quite overcast. The sun's been in and out, so we've got 65% on the lithium batteries, and that's with the solar of, what is it, 1.2
kilowatts of solar. So
kilowatts of solar.
we've got some solar going in. Of course, it, when it gets shaded, it jumps back. But I mean, we're running charging laptops through the inverter, Starlink's on 24/7, and you've got all your night lights, navigation lights, and of course your instruments and autopilot running all the time. So, and that's not including your fridge and freezer and electric toilets and everything else. So I mean, the boat itself has got incredible battery storage, and then with the double alternators on the engines, the charging's fantastic. I mean,
that's the game changer, isn't it? Because you can get them up pretty quick. Like you're putting them on for 30-minute, 40-minute intervals.
From 55-60% up, 35-40 minutes, and they're up at 100. So and then that can last you right through the night into the next day. So yeah, power's been very nice on this passage.
Of course, that also gives you hot water from your heat exchange, so you've got a nice warm shower for the evening.
Yep.
Fresh water, we're still doing okay. Yeah, we've still got the reserve, or the secondary go on the tank, 320 litres.
Yeah, we've gone through probably about 350 litres, which is pretty good. You don't tend to use a huge amount of water on the passage, but yeah, no, she's got plenty, and if that gets a bit low, we can start up the Watermaker. So we've got a Rainman Watermaker here. It's a high output Watermaker. Pretty easy to use. All the componentry's in the cupboard here, from the high pressure pump and the primary and secondary filters. So easily accessible. So basically it sits on a auto flush setting, so it can just auto flush the membranes. So basically to get it going, we just switch it on, pump will kick in, and we just increase the pressure up to the range here that's shown as that pump starts up. The valve is on divert, so that's just sending everything overboard until the water quality goes green. Once that goes green, then we're safe to switch it to tank, where it will send the water straight to it. So there it's gone green, so flick it over to tank, and that'll put in about 100 litres an hour.
Tracked off sheets now and we're on a following sea, so the boat's really taking off, probably sitting on an average of 10 knots here. You can see those raked bows really coming to their own to keep it nice and dry.
Okay, Tom, we're on our final approach to New Zealand, probably in the next day.
Yep, 200 miles.
Next 24 hours or so, we'll be approaching North Cape, is it?
Yep.
So tell us, what should we expect coming around North Cape?
Well, we've had a fairly bumpy 24 hours, although the boat's been handling it really well. We knew southerly was coming in on all the predictions and modelling that we had with PredictWind. So what's quite great about this system is you can enter your boat's polars into the program and then basically get it to chart you a weather course to your destination. So it sort of has timings of when we will get to certain places when the weather's coming. So we can see here coming towards North Cape, you know, we could see 25 to 30 knots with, you know, 3.5 to 4 meter swell possibly. And then of course as you get a bit closer you get the shallower water and then the currents around North Cape, which can add to that a wee bit. So it's quite good. So you got lots of different weather models on there from ECMWF or PWG, and so they all tell a slightly different story, but when they all pretty much align, you know you've got something consistent to work with.
So you've been using this for planning departures and the whole way across the Tasman.
Yeah, and previous to that, the last few years I've been using it through the Pacific. So it's a great tool, and of course it's never 100% accurate, but it's pretty close. I think one of the harder things with a 7-day passage is that, you know, your first few days can usually be pretty accurate with your weather, and then of course your last few days, 7 days out, is always a little bit harder to get complete accuracy on a forecast. But we knew this was here. And I think we've got the right end of it.
And speaking of which, we've had this guy to contend with.
Yeah, so that low's come down from the Pacific, and it's being squashed between two highs. So it's causing a bit of weather off Gisborne, East Cape there, but we won't see any effects of that, other than a bit of the southerly whipping up on the western side of it. But looks like we've dodged that one, which is good.
So once we're in the lee here, hopefully a steadier ride. Whoops.
Yeah. Once we're in the lee of North Cape, we'll lose a bit of that swell. In here, Cape Paracari, you know, it's a big open bay here with a really narrow piece of land mass. So you'll still see some weather whip through there, but you know, it's even better than the forecast was yesterday. I mean, it was showing that it was going to be sort of bang on the nose heading down the coast, but looks like it's sailable at the moment.
Well, looks like tomorrow will be exciting.
Yeah,
Tomorrow night.
It's exciting at the moment, but we've got sunshine and, you know, boats handling it really well. So yeah.
Well, good morning in New Zealand, land of the long white cloud. What a spectacular morning we've had too. We've come in at dawn with Screecher up, sitting on 10 to 13 knots on flat water, just pristine, flat sailing conditions, unbelievable. And now we're entering through the Northlands down to Opua today, where we'll check in. It's a spectacular welcoming here. As you can see, passing through these islands, and it's a glorious scenery around us. It's very pleasant to come in on some flat water after 7 or 8 days at sea. Pretty big rolling swell. So it's been a heck of a trip, and it's great to finally arrive at your destination. One of the joys of blue water sailing. Well, we finally made it here into Opua, New Zealand. After about 8.5 days at sea, around 1,200 nautical miles, 5 days of which were upwind, 3.5 days off the breeze. We managed to hit around an average speed of 6.5 knots, top speed about 16.6 knots, thereabouts, which is surprising, but probably coming down a wave. And it handled beautifully. The boat was extremely impressive in pretty big seas, a lot of the time in 2.5 metre winds chop, and then up to 4.5 metre ocean swell coming through on the southerly after a few days. So we copped it all. We've got quite a few greenies over the top and a fair bit of washing machine weather in the first few days and middle of the Tasman, but it handled it. It's a very impressive boat offshore. And with the Galley couple wanting a cruising boat to suit the sail the South Pacific in these parts of the world, this is a fantastic choice.
For more information on the Seawind 1170, including pricing and availability, scan the QR code or click the link below. This video was produced by Multi-Hull Central, a specialist catamaran agency in the South Pacific, selling and delivering new and used multi-hulls in Australia, New Zealand and Fiji.